Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today's chapter is chapter 13, and it is the nature, the enjoyer, and the consciousness. And we'll start with your Amar business to Shri Shri Radha Govinda. Let's start with this chapter. Okay, just it's okay. Right. So in the previous chapter, the devotional service completed the Bhakti Yoga part, and the final chapter was related to what is Bhakti Yoga, how what is dear to Krishna, what is Bhakti, how does it is different. Arjuna clarifies his positions over his position over impersonalism, whether which is better, impersonalism or Bhakti Yoga. So Lord tells that the impersonal path is very tough, but eventually one reaches to the Krishna only. But it is very tough, it is very troublesome, and Bhakti Yoga is quite it quite fast. The process is fast, the process is easy. And then the what are the stages, various stages of devotion that at least remember, mind fixed, do fix your mind on me, you cannot do that. Then Krishna tells, okay, okay, at least do sadhana bhakti, like sadhana, follow the regulative principles and all, and do bhakti with all the principles as told by the guru. And if you cannot do that, then at least work for me. Okay, you cannot not following the principles, and at least work for me, directly work for me. If you cannot do that, then at least give away the results of their work, nishkam sarkam karma yoga, at least that you can do. If you cannot do that, cultivate, do dhyana yoga, and below that it is the jnana yoga. At least cultivate some knowledge, right? Cultivating knowledge is the lowest, but at least one can do that. No, that's why ISKCON has a book distribution principle, that one, those who are coming to the temple, because not everyone will be coming to the temple, some of them will not be coming, right? So those who come to the temple, the ISKCON has the preaching that it is not like other temples. It is like, when you go to the temple, at least you will listen to the Bhagavatam, you will do some kirtan, one or the other thing, but you will get some knowledge at least, right? If you are not even interested, not even interested in anything, but at least get some knowledge, right? But what about the others who are not coming to the temple? So, and during the Prabhupada time, there was only, the books were the only, medium by, YouTube was not there, and many social media platforms were not there. So the book distribution was the only thing by which, the persons who are not coming to the temple, they can also get the, at least get the knowledge. So cultivation of knowledge, at least they can get it. That by Krishna, by that, Srila Prabhupada has mercy bestowed on all upon over the world, right? And in the last part, Krishna tells that what endears him, right? What pleases him, what endears him, what is dear to him, who is dear to him. He has clarified the position of for the bhaktas. Now we come to the 13th chapter. Now the Gyan Yuga part starts. The Arjuna has some 6 questions. The Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetagnya, Jnanam, Gayam. Because in the earlier chapters we learned about our relationship, the position of the Lord. In the Bhakti Yoga part, what is devotional service, right? And in the first part, we learned about the what is what is our relationship with the Lord, what is our relationship with the Lord, how what is Prakriti's relationship. Now we are basically differentiating between the Kshetra and Kshetra, the field of the activities and the knower of the field, right? This part needs to be clarified. So this part is the Jnana Yoga, right? The Prakriti, the Purusha, the Kshetra, Kshetagna, Jnanam, and Gnayam. Second part, we will deal with Krishna's answer to questions of 3, 4, and the field of activities. Kshetra, Kshetagna, fielder of activities, and the knower of the field. Kshetra, Kshetagna, the knower of the field. That who is the knower of the field. And the third part, we will learn about the answers to other 5 questions, the process of knowledge and liberation. And the fourth part, we will learn about the question number 6, Gayam, the object of knowledge, right? There is Sambandha, there is Abhidya, there is Prayojan. Who is the object of Prayojan, right? Object of knowledge, right? So 13, 20, 26, fifth part, we will learn about the Prakriti, Purusha, and the union, right? What is the union? And the last part, the Gyan Chakshu, the vision of the knowledge, ultimate knowledge. What is the ultimate knowledge one gets from this chapter, right? So chapter 1 to 6, it was action, all karmas, action on the platform, knowledge, perfection of actions performed to please Lord Krishna, right? How to he pleased them through karma, right? Through karma, it was discussed there. And the 7 to 12, it is all Bhakti Yoga. The essence, the main Bhagavad Gita is from 7 to 12 chapter. The 13 to 18, the Gyan, the knowledge, the perfection of Gyan. The what is actual Gyan? One needs to know that in the last part of 13 to 18, right? So if bhakti is the culmination, why is jnana presented in the last six chapters? In truth, the entire bhakti Bhagavad Gita is bhakti. The first six chapters discuss how to achieve bhakti through work. Right? Everything all knowledge Krishna has told. All knowledge cultivates, culminates in the relationship to Krishna. Right? In relationship to Krishna, everything is culminates in bhakti through work. Right? So bhakti through work is the first part, and the bhakti through devotion service is the second part. Bhakti through knowledge is the last part. The last six chapters describe how to achieve it through knowledge, and the middle six through discuss bhakti itself. And also in the 12th chapter, Krishna explained how he personally delivers his devotees from birth and death. Right? One who basically keeps his mind, whatever hinders him, then he very fast delivers him. Very fast he comes and take us away, right? Because the feeling should be there, the feeling should be there, the attitude, the feeling should be there with the Krishna, right? Once there is feeling with for Krishna, once asakti comes with the Krishna, then he comes personally to deliver, right? So the last six chapters provide the philosophical knowledge necessary to extricate oneself from the material world, because we want to detach ourselves, right? Detach ourselves. How we will detach? By the knowledge. One who knows that who is actually the knower of the field, who is the enjoyer of the prakriti, who is actually enjoying, what is Brahman, right? What is Jiva, right? These all things, if we know, then only we will be able to detach ourselves, right? This knowledge is necessary for detaching ourselves, right? So Jnana has its use in assisting our detachment from Maya and our attachment to Krishna. That's why after 12th chapter also there is 13 to 18 chapter. Just for the knowledge, just for the detachment, just for the effectiveness to our detachment, these chapters are there. It will assist us for our detachment from Maya, right? And if we use the knowledge as means to attain devotion, it becomes a part of bhakti, right? This knowledge how we use for me for attaining the devotional service. Arjuna, six questions. प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञम् एव च एतद्वेदितुम् इच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशवाय श्री भगवान उवाच इदं शरीरं कौन्तेय क्षेत्रम् इति अभिधीयते एततो वेत्ति तं प्रभु क्षेत्रज्ञ इति तद्विदः हरे कृष्ण ट्रांसलेशन एनीवन
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण
Arjun said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field, and the knower of the field, and the knowledge, and the end of knowledge." The blessed Lord then said, "The body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and the one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the sixth question is here asked: what is nature? What is Purusha? Who is the enjoyer, right? What is the field and the knower of the field, right? Who is the knower? What is the field and its field itself and the knower of the field, right? And who's what of the end of the knowledge and end of the knowledge? He wants to know the gyan and the gnayam, right? What is the object of the knowledge and the end of the knowledge? So he wants to know. So now Shanariti tells that okay, now son of this body which has been cultivated through various karma, right? So various karma, various whatever karma reactions are there. By that, this field is coming out of it, right? The field is out of it. The karma reactions are all. This is the field, right? This body, the playground, because for anything to happen, something is to happen, because we the spiritual, this jiva is there, but in order to interact with the prakriti, basically we are here in order to have the to enjoy. Basically the prakriti is the inferior energy, right? We are the margin energy. So margin energy is basically trying to enjoy this inferior energy. For it to enjoy, there should be some body, some interacting medium should be there, right? That's why we have some senses. The senses are there just to interact with this prakriti, right? To interact with this prakriti, which is the field, right? The body is basically the field, and one knows the body, one knows is the knower of the field. right? The knower, because both are in difference, because the knower of the field, the body keeps changing from, from from the uh, childhood to boyhood, into old age, it keeps changing. But the knower of the field, it doesn't change. It doesn't change. The body keeps changing, the body keeps changing, the body keeps growing. But the knower of the field, it looks like it was, it was, very much less time when we were, when we were very small kid. Time passes like, just like a moment, because then the knower of the field is there. Knower of the field doesn't change. It doesn't change. The knower of the field is always there. It is not changing. What is changing? The body is changing. The body is only changing. So it is very easy to identify that yes, there is something as knower of the field, right? Now something as knowing a knower of the field, and there is something as field, right, which is changing, right, which is changing, and which is not eternal. It is very easy to identify. So body is the field of activity. The Lord is the super knower, super soul, Paramatma, right? So who is the knower of the field? There are two parts, right? There are two parts. Like we the soul, the Jiva is the knower of the field, but there is also super soul. The Lord Shirodaksha Vishnu is also there, which is the knower of the field, right? But the knower of the field is not only of this field, all the other fields also, Paramatma is knower of the field. It's like, king basically have all the lands in under his control, right? So the citizens basically are having, some part of control of their field, right? They have, the citizens of the of a state basically are having different parts of the field under their control. But the king is controller of all the fields. So similarly, the Paramatma is the controller, the knower of all the bodies, right? But the living entity is, it is a finite enjoyer. It is the knower of this body only. It is the individual owner, not the, not the super knower, not the Paramatma, not the knower of all the bodies. The super soul, what can do? The control of both the fields, or field of activities, and the finite enjoyer, right? It controls both the field of activity, both, and the control of both the field of activities also it controls, and the finite enjoyer also controls, the Jiva also, right? So it controls everything. So what is the criteria for conditioned to soul to get the body or kshetra? As the conditioned soul is entrapped in material existence, he has the propensity to lord over material nature. Right? One is come here to lord over material nature. That is the, that is the reason we are here. Right? We want to become the lord of something. Right? That's why we are here. We want to enjoy things. Then, and so according to his capacity to dominate material nature and enjoy sense gratification, he gets a field of activity, the body called kshetra, right? So body is, basically with all our karmas, with all our desires, we have only desired that we want this material body in order to enjoy this material nature, in order to lord over this material nature. That's why we are here, right? So basically all the sukha and dukkha are coming out of what? About it is coming out of us only, right? It is coming because the dukkha is coming because of us only. Right? So because if someone asks that, someone asks that, that to God, that why there is so much, there is so much dukkha in this world, but God will say that, there is humans are enough to create this, they create this dukkha in this world, right? This all this, if you see that all the pollution is there, and we have only created air pollution, we have only created all the things which are around, and whatever material things are, we have only created. And we are saying why dukkha is there, because humans have only created, right? It is not due to the Lord. The Lord has made so much, so beautiful nature, right? So beautiful nature, so beautiful hills, mountains, so beautiful aquatic life, so beautiful, landscape, so beautiful hills and mountains are there, so beautiful greenery are there. Everything is so much beautiful, everything is perfect. But the humans, due to the lording over the material nature and trying to enjoy this material nature, has created the dukkha in their jiva, right? Whatever dukkha is there, because of us, right? So the living entity is the conditioned soul, different from the body, but knows it and is called the Shetagna, or the knower of the field. So who is the Shetagna? The living entity, the jiva, and the knower of the field. So how are the body kshetra, knower of the body kshetra different? How is the body and the knower of the body? A single person undergoes many changes from childhood to old age, right? The body is changing, right? A single person refers to Shetagna. Changes from childhood to old age are occurring within the body. This body is changing, but the knower of the field is same. That is the difference between the knower of the field and the actual field of activities. Right? Deyosmin yathade he kaumaram yomanam jara. तथा देहांतरा प्राप्ते धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. Dehanospin, the means the living entity is within the body. Dehanospin, and in the deha, in the deha, in the dehanospin, right? In the deha, there it is the living body is there, and that the body is changing. Kaumaram, yauvanam, jara, from childhood to boyhood to youth to old age. And the living entity who knows owns the body knows that the body is changing. When we say I am happy, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a dog, I am a cat, these are bodily designations of the knower, right? Everything is related to the body. Srila Prabhupada used to tell, these are all body relations. Some person is basically some time working on the on this prakriti. One a man claims the woman that this is my wife, and he comes into the body relationship with the that person, right? So body relationship one is coming, not actual relationship. Actual relationship is the fundamental position, is the lord only, right? That is fundamental position, but we are into the bodily designations, right? The bodily designation we need to be vimukt out of that. Sarvapadi vinurmuktam tatparatve nirmalam, right? The bhakti or devotion service means surrendering all, keeping all your senses engaged in the all your senses in the service of the Lord, the master of the senses, the Rishikesha. Sarvapadi vinurmuktam tatparatve nirmalam, Rishikena Rishikesha, right? Engage. In order one does that, then what happens? The material designations, he gets free from it, right? And he gets purified. The all senses gets purified. So these are bodily designations of the knower, but the knower is different from the body. Analogy: we use many articles, clothes, etc., but we are different from the things we use, right? Person is wearing lot of clothes, lot of articles, many things one is wearing, but he is different from those things, right? He is different. So the chapter 1 to 6, the individual soul is a part and parcel of Supreme Lord, right? We came to know that we are the Anu Atma. Who is the Vibhu Atma? The infinite soul is the Paramatma, right? So individual soul is the individual. We have the individuality, and it is a part and parcel of Supreme Lord. The first chapter clears it, right? That is the constitutional position and relationship with the Lord. The Sambandha is established in the first six chapter. Then the relationship with the individual soul and the super soul in regard to devotional service. How to do devotional service. Abhideya, the process to attain the Lord, is defined in the 7 to 12 chapter. Yat karoshi yad ashnachi yad duhoshi dadashi yat tapasheshi tu kontiya tat karusham adarpanam. Whatever you are doing, offer as an do as an offering to the Lord, right? The position of the supreme person Godhead is superior. We came to know, and in the 11th chapter, he shows the Vishwarupa, he is the superior, and the position of the individual soul is subordinate. We are at our fundamental position, that is a natural position, right? That is explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, that whatever Varnashrama Dharma one is in, he needs to be only in that place, and from that place only he can serve the Lord. Right? He can serve at that the Lord. So one is subordinate in any case, in any Varnashrama Dharma is subordinate to the Lord, and he needs to just worship the Lord at whatever position one is in. The living entities are suffering due to have forgotten this, right? We have forgotten that we are subordinate to Lord. We are the eternal servitor of the Lord. We have forgotten this, right? So four kinds of men approach the pious one, the Chaturvidha who are there. Artha, Artharthi, Jnani, and Jignasu. The distress, the money seeker, the wealth seeker, the inquisitiveness, the Jignasu, the Jnani, the for the knowledge person, right? The Jnani, the wise person. He basically approaches the Lord. This we come to know in the 7 to 12 chapter, right? The relationship with the individual and super soul. Then in the last chapter, we are here in this, how the conditioned soul is delivered by the Supreme Lord through the different methods of fruitive activities through knowledge and devotional service are explained, right? How? Why? Because we, if we know this knowledge, then we will be doing that activities and that knowledge. Okay, by this activity one attains the Lord, by this activity one doesn't attain the Lord. So one will be cleared with this knowledge, one will have clarification with this knowledge. So how the living entity completely different from the material body somehow becomes related to the body, this also we will know in this chapters. So prakriti first part is prakriti is material nature, right? Whatever we are saying is the prakriti, material nature around us, the inferior agi, the purusha, the enjoyer of the prakriti, right? We are trying to enjoy the marginal agi is trying to enjoy this inferior agi, right? The Shetakra, the shariram, that is the body, right? The body is there. Shetagna, the observer in the body, super soul knower in all the bodies, right? Because in various in the in personalist form, then one is trying to reach to the Paramatma. The dhyan is basically on this only, that one becomes the observer, right? One becomes basically the mind is there, it is fluctuating. One keeps meditating that okay, let the mind fluctuate, try to become it to zero, or and one becomes the observer, one becomes awareness. So basically the soul basically watches the what is going in the mind, right? By that method, the dhyan yogi and all the impersonalists basically try to do the dhyan, right? So observer in the body soul, observer is the body, and the body is the soul and also the super soul, the knower in all the bodies. What is the Jnanam? Understanding Kshetra and Kshetragna. This is the Jnanam, right? Who is Kshetra and what is Kshetragna, right? What is the body and who is the knower of the body, right? Gnayam is the goal of the knowledge, that is the Paramatma. Right, so this is the field, there is the knower of the body, that only one person is knowing, right? When this person is only knowing, is his only field he is knowing. But you can see that various other things are also kept. The Paramatma is like knower everything, every each and every individual, he knows that in this field, but whatever, where is, what is one doing, what is happening in others body, what is he is thinking, right? So Kshetra is for whom who gets body as the field of activity, the conditioned soul, right? Conditioned soul gets this body. Why? What is get is to enjoy. Right? Soul is entrapped in material existence because of its attempts to it over, the lord over material nature. Right? So criteria to decide which body according to the capacity to dominate material energy. Whatever pious things, whatever things we have attained, whatever by that some karma is accumulated, by that karma some this body we get. So according to the capacity to enjoy sense gratification, one gets a particular body to function accordingly. Right? So our capacity is depending on us only, because it is as per our karmas and all. Whatever enjoying propensity is one, whatever one capacity one gets, it adds per the karma basically. What is the Shetagna? Who is the Shetagna? How to understand the difference between the body and knower of the body? The based on changing phases of the Kaumaram, Yovanam, Jara. From boyhood to childhood, childhood to boyhood to to old age, right? We come to understanding that the body is changing, but the knower of the field is still the same. It is the intuitive understanding, right? One can realize this truth, right? When we can realize this truth. So comparison of knowledge in three sections of Bhagavad Gita discusses, first chapter discusses, first six discusses knower of the body and the portion which he can understand, Supreme Lord. Second part discusses Supreme Personality Godhead and relationship with the individual soul and the super soul in regards to devotional service. Right? What is our relationship? What is the individual soul's relationship with the Paramatma, and in regards to the devotional service? How to do that? What is the effect of it? Right? What are the opulences, how you can see supreme personality godhead. It discusses supreme personality, the absolute nature of the supreme personality godhead, the opulences of the supreme personality godhead, the vishwarup. It discusses, it describes the superior position of Krishna, right? How is superior, how is, and we are the subordinate position of living entity. Four kinds of pious, right? It says man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yagi mam namaskuru, right? It says that okay, become my devotee, worship only me, it is saying. Four kinds of pious men, we artha, jnani and jignasu. And then the last part explains how the living entity comes in contact with material nature, right? How this entity is again and again due to lording it over, right? That's why we are coming in contact, and explains how living entity is developed by the Lord through different methods. The 3, 4, 5 now he will answer. The field of activity is the knower of the field and the knowledge. Shetagnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata shetashignanyorganam yattat jnanam matam mama. Hare Krishna. Translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
O Scion of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge. This is my opinion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here, Krishna is saying one should understand that I am also, that he is clarifying that he is also the knower of the body, right? This body, not only you are not knowing, I am also knowing, right? He is clarifying it, right? He's clarifying that Paramatma is there inside the heart, right? Inside the heart, inside the body. It is there. It is in transcendental position. It is residing inside the body, just having just like a CCTV camera, like just like a CCTV camera. It is there, right? It is there. And understand this body and its owner is called knowledge, right? What is this body, whom does this body belongs to? That it belongs to basically with the field of, due to the karma there is this body. And its owner, who is the owner of this body? It is the knowledge. When we know that this body belongs to the Lord, then we are at the correct knowledge, right? So this knowledge, that one who knows this body and the owner, then only he is in the knowledge. So in every field of activity body, there are two souls, right? The individual and the super soul. The super soul is the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality Godhead, a single fragment, right? And from the his single fragment, everything is pervaded, he says. The super soul is the controller of the body, of both the field of activities and the finite enjoy. The individual soul also is controlling and the field of activities. So Krishna says, I am also the knower, not the individual knower of the body, but the super knower, the Paramatma super soul in every individual body. The individual soul is the knower of his body. Of the two knowers, one is fallible and the other is infallible. Fallible is the individual soul, infallible is the super soul. One is superior and the other is subordinate. Right. So a citizen, analogy is I had given that a citizen, we know everything about his patch of land, but the king knows not only his palace but all the properties possessed by the individual citizen, because he is the king, right? So he is aware of everything. He is not interfering in the things, being here, but but he is everywhere like a CCTV. He is already there, right? He is like a CCTV. He is already everywhere. He is pervading each and everywhere. In this chart you can see that, Mahavishnu is, Mahavishnu creates with his breath. In his dreams he creates the, where multi universes he creates. And from there, the Garbhodaksha Vishnu comes. The Garbhodaksha Vishnu, the material natures is the material world is created. From there, the material world, the Shirodaksha Vishnu enters into each and every living entity to create diversification, right? The Supreme Personality Godhead, present as the Super Soul in all bodies, knows everything about all bodies of all the various species of life. Supreme Proprietor, Supreme Knower of all the bodies he is. Right. So Kshetrani hi Sharirani Bijam Chapi Subhashubhe Tani Veti Swayogatma Tata Kshetra Chitagna Uchate. One who understands the two knowers of the field to be one and the same contradicts the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who states here very clearly, I am also the knower of the field of activity, right? So he is saying that I am also, right? He is saying also, not only you, I am also. So one who claims that I am the God, he is totally false. Totally false. He totally contradicts this statement, because he's saying, I am also, not only you, I am also. So there are two things inside us, right? Two things. One is us, ourselves, but there is Paramatma also. He clarifies, so one who thinks that Brahmasmi and I am the God, then they are into the annihilation of the spirituality, basically, right? So one who misunderstands a rope to be a servant is not in knowledge, right? One is seeing the rope, but it is claiming that I had seen some serpent, right? So he's not in knowledge. Rope is rope, serpent is serpent. So real knowledge is to know that the super soul is the controller of both the field of activities and the finite enjoyer. The super soul and soul are same and distinct, right? Same. How same? Because of Satchidanand Swarupa, right? The quality wise, it is the same. Distinct because we know only this body, but the super soul knows every body, right? Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. This is given by, that's why this is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So one is seeing this rope and seeing that this is serpent. So he's misunderstanding and he is not in factual knowledge. So one has to understand the position of Prakriti, nature, the Purusha, the enjoyer of the nature, and the Ishvara, the knower who dominates or controls nature and individual soul. Right? So and one needs to understand these three things. One should not confuse the painter, the painting, and the easel. The one who is holding the painter, the painting, and the easel. This material world, which is the field of activities, is the nature, right? It is the field of activities is the nature, this material world. And the enjoyer of the nature is living entity, that we are trying to enjoy this, right? But ultimate enjoyer, who is the ultimate enjoyer? Muktaram Yagatapadam, Supreme Lord is the enjoyer. And above them both is the supreme control, the personality of Godhead, who is the factual enjoyer, right? The Sveteshwara Upanishad says 1.12, Bhokta Bhogyam Preritaram chamatva sarvam proktam vidam brahman itat. There are three Brahman conceptions, right? What are those? Prakriti is Brahman. Jiva, trying to control material nature, is also Brahman. The factual controller of both of them is also Brahman. Means the one is saying the Brahman is Prakriti. Yes, that is also Brahman. This things around you and the mobile is also Brahman. Right? The Prakriti field of activities, everything is Brahman. Right? How the matter is residing inside it. Right? The moving and moving wherever Paramatma is there, it is basically calling that as Brahman. The Prakriti is also Brahman. Jiva is also Brahman. Trying to control material nature is also Brahman. We are trying to control, right? But it is not in our control, right? But the factual control of both of them the is also Brahman, right? So that is also Brahman. All the three things can be Brahman. The highest universal principle, Brahman. Ultimate, it is the ultimate or absolute reality and central concept in the Upanishads, ancient scriptures, in Vedanta philosophy, right? It always talks about the Brahman, right? That which never changes, knowledge and infinity. So it is talking about it is talking about the quality of that Satchidanand thing. It is talking about that which is having, which is never change, eternal, and eternal, and is Sat and Chit, eternal and knowledge. It is calling the Brahman. So Lord Krishna defines Shetagna and Jnanam, right? Answer to the fourth question, Shetagna is there is also second knower of all the fields, the supernova, the Shetagna, right? Knower of them. The answer to fifth question, then what is the Jnanam? To understand this body and the knower, right? The body and the knower, which is the super soul and the soul, is called the knowledge. So this question he answers. To study the subject matter of the field of activity and knower of the field activity very minutely, right? The Kshetra is the field of activity. There are two kinds of knower, the soul and the super soul. The super soul is how Krishna is the knower. So super soul is the plenary. Krishna is the knower through CCTV camera, right? Through CCTV camera, to Paramatma, right? Updashtanumanta cha, Bharta Bhukta Maheshwara. So what is saying? Updashtanumanta cha, right? He is watching also, he is permitter and the overseer, right? Super soul is the plenary expansion of Krishna, right? Shirodaksha Vishnu. He says, I am also the knower, but not the individual knower of the body. He knows every body. He is present in every body as the super knower, right? So two knowers and the differences. Now we will learn about differences. The soul is the Jivatma and the super soul is the Paramatma. It is Anu Atma. It is 1/10,000 size of the tip of the hair. And the super soul is Vibhu Atma. And the soul is cognizant of one's own body. Only we know only one's our body, but the super soul is cognizant of everyone and everything. Right? Supernova. Soul is secondary proprietor of one body, right? And just like a citizen of, it is actually the land belongs to king, but we are for the part time, for the some part of time, right? When the citizen takes that land, the king awards that land to that citizen, and basically he takes care for some part of time, right? He enjoys the fruits out of that land. He dedicates out of that land to some fruits to the some lord, that can be done, right? That can be done. Citizen is like that, right? But here then the super soul is the king. The super soul king is proprietor of all the lands. The super soul is the supreme proprietor of all the bodies, right? The soul is the secondary controller of the senses, right? We are the secondary controller of the activities. प्रकृति क्रियामाणी गुणै कर्माणि सर्वसा अहंकार में बड़ा प्रकृति क्रियामाणी गुणै कर्माणि the three modes of material nature are actually doing the work, right? The Supreme Lord is the basically permitter to that, right? Three modes of material nature. He granted the permission. He grants the permission. The Lord is the supreme controller of the senses. Rishikesha. He is the master of the senses, right? Soul is fallible. Super soul is infallible, right? He is always protected with Bhakta Vatsala. Super soul is the loving servitor, subordinate. It is already eternal servitor of the Lord, but we have forgotten it. Right? The super soul is eternally a loving master. It is superior. Innumerable living entities are souls, and super soul is through. Super soul is in the heart of every living entity, and within every atom, still there is only one super soul. Right? तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यद्रक्ष यद्विकारी यतश्च यत् सा च यो यत् प्रभावश्च तत्समासेन मे शृणु. Hare Krishna. Translation.
Hare Krishna. Now, please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, what that knower of the field of activity is, and what his influences are. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now he is saying, now listen, now listen, now please hear. Now the very brief description field of the activities, right? Kshetram, the field of activity, how it is constituted, how it is made up of, what is it is made of, what are the changes, what is produces, what is the who is the knower, who is the knower of this field of activities, and what is his influences are, right? The Lord describes the field of activities and the knower of the field of activities in their constitutional position. He wants to tell that we are the eternal servitor of the Lord, right? We are the subordinate to him. So materials of which body is made up of, the control of the body is changed. He tells how does the body changes, right? From the childhood to boyhood to the youth to old age. From where do the changes come from? What are the causes of the changes? Ultimate goal of the individual soul, actual form of the individual soul, distinction between the living soul and the super soul. No, and one should never equate the supreme person godhead in every body with the individual soul, the jiva, right? So this is one is saying so. बहुधा गीतं छन्दोभिर्विधैः विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रापदैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितः. हरे कृष्ण. Translation. Hare Krishna. That knowledge of the field
Hare,
of activities. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
yeah,
Continue,
Hare,
Mataji.
yeah, Hare Krishna. The knowledge of the field of activities and the knower of the activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is specially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So where it is present, the Lord is clearly telling that it is present in the Vedanta Sutra. One wants to know some knowledge, you can go in detail with all the Vedanta Sutras and learn about this, the field of activities, the knower of the activities, right? Brahman. Basically the Brahman things is all given in the Brahma Sutra Pradeshaiva. He himself is saying what is the cause and what is the effect of this all this, the field of activities and the knower of the activities. One who is the knowledge regarding that is clearly described in the Vedic writings. So Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedanta Sutra, is a great sage, and in the Vedanta Sutra duality of soul and super soul is perfectly explained, right? Yes, no, all the dualities. What is how the super soul and the soul is there? The duality, this duality is perfectly explained. The Vyasadeva's father, Parashara Muni, is also a great sage. He writes, Aham Tvam Cha Tathanye, right? We, you, I, and the various other living entities are all transcendental, although in material bodies. We are all transcendental because we have transcendental quality. The Jiva is there, right? Therefore, though we are in the material body, but still transcendental. We are fallen into the ways of the three modes of material nature according to our different karma, goodness, passion, ignorance, right? Due to this only, this all these things are going on, right? Due to some goodness, due to passion, ignorance, we are bonded with this material nature. And some are on higher nature, some are on the lower nature. And this, like, because we learned that there are 4 lakh species in the human form also. Right? Out of the 84 lakhs, 4 lakh species are there, right? The higher and the lower nature exist due to ignorance and are being manifested in an infinite number of living entities, right? The higher and lower natures. But the super soul, which is infallible, is uncontaminated by the 3 qualities of nature and is transcendental. That's why if we listen to the Paramatma, which is transcendental to these 3 modes of material nature, then we also get elevated to that platform, right? That's why it is like a tree. Both the birds are there on the branch of the tree. There is super soul which is talking, but we are not listening to it. And due to that, we are into the delusion of getting entangled with the goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? A distinction between the soul and super soul in the body is also made in the original Veda, especially in the Katha Upanishad. Of the many great sages who explained this, sage Parashara is considered principal among them. Right? So Parashara Muni explained this very clearly. So according to the Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahma Pucham Pratishtha is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord's energy known as Annamaya. Right? Various level is there. Yeah? Various level of consciousness is there. Okay. So one who is in the Annamaya state, right? That they're like a child who is always wants to eat something. That consciousness is basically dependence on food for existence. That's why there is materialistic relation of the supreme. If we are too much into food, we are too much craving for the food, then we are also in the stage of Annamaya, right? We are not come about, right? So Annamaya. So one should see that what part of us, what how much part of us are into the Annamaya, right? One needs to, it is the childhood perception, where it is where who knows only the food is, it is the Brahman, food is everything, right? So Annamaya consciousness is there, and the Pranamaya consciousness. When the child grows, he becomes a little youth. Then what happens? He starts playing. He wants to play and play, right? The child grows and he just wants to play. So lot of energy is there. So one realize, one comes to the pran maya, and after realizing the supreme absolute truth in the food, one in the annamaya, one realizes that Brahman, absolute the param satya is only food. He assumes that, but in the pranamaya, he realizes absolute truth is in the living symptoms or life forms. Right? One comes to the life force, basically the energy running inside us, the life force, pranayam, the pran vayu. One comes into that he assumes that everything is to the life form, and everything is to due to the breathing, whatever we are taking, that is energy. When eliminates above that, then he extends, the relation extends beyond the consciousness extends beyond the living symptoms to the point of thinking, feeling, and willing. The mind and contemplation of the mind then starts. He starts at the Gyan Maya, right? The thinking, feeling, and willing state. The mind is there. But actual relation starts on the Brahman relation starts on the fourth stage, which is Vijnana Maya, right? In which living entities' mind and life symptoms are distinguished from the living entity himself. He can distinguish that the mind is different. The thinking, feeling, willing is done by something else, and the living force, then the living force inside us, the life form, the life symptoms which I am seeing, the breathing activity which I am seeing is different. So that is Vijnanamaya. That is the actual knowledge that I am not the body, I am the soul. Right? So one comes to the understanding the Brahman relation that I am not this body, I am the soul. By that he realizes that is the Vijnanamaya. Then the supreme stage comes at the Anandamaya, which is relation of all blissful nature. That yes, there is Paramatma, there is Bhagavan, that is all blissful state. So this is the level of consciousness, from the Annamaya to Anandamaya. So we need to contemplate on which stage we are, what we are able to realize. By this we can, we can see the progress, right? So these are the five stages of Brahman realization called Brahmapucham, right? Mentioned in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So out of these, the first three, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, involve the field of activities of the living entity. The body, it is involved, right? Above that, the soul is involved. The transcendental to all these fields of activities is the Supreme Lord, who is called Anandamaya, right? So one realizes the Supreme Soul, he becomes Anand, blissful. So Vedanta Sutra describes the Supreme as Anandamayo Bhyasad. The Supreme Person Godhead is by nature full of joy. It is by nature Satchidanand, right? To enjoy his transcendental bliss, he expands into Vijnanmaya, Pranamaya, Gyanmaya, and Annamaya, right? He expands. In the field of activities, the living entity is considered to be the enjoyer, and the different from him is the Anandamaya, right? So we are different from the Anandamaya. If the living entity decides to enjoy in dovetailing himself with the Anandamaya, then he becomes perfect, right? How we need to enjoy? By linking ourselves with the Anandamaya, right? Because everything, the dukh is everything about this only, right? One, for a person who is the Anand Maya, he will consider having 1 rupee also with him, the more than extra. And a person who is not who is having everything and is not in the Anand Maya, then he will think that very less is given to him. But in actuality, it is all in the mind. It is all in the mind. And one is linked to the Anand Maya, or one is linked to the bodily conception, right? So it depends on us. So this is the real picture of the Supreme Lord as the supreme knower of the field, the living entity as the subordinate knower, right? The real picture of Supreme Lord is the supreme knower of the field, and living entity is the subordinate knower and the nature of the field of activities. What are the manifestations of the Supreme Lord's energy? The five stages of Brahman we have seen, right? So Anandamaya depend on upon Annamaya depend on upon the food for existence, materialistic relations. Pranmaya, after realizing the supreme absolute truth in food, one can realize the absolute truth in life symptoms. Jnanmaya, the mind enters the thinking, feeling, willing, and the Vijnanmaya, living entity himself. And the Anandmaya is the supreme stage of all blissful nature. Right? So these are the five koshas, and the Annamaya you can see where one is in the kosha there, because one needs to see this, how are we, at what stage of bodily concept we are in. So if we are into the Annamaya kosha, physical body, then we are in the Annamaya kosha. We are linking ourselves to the body, sense gratification. Then what is there? We are still in the consciousness that we are the body. Then there is lot of dukkha will be there. One is the pranamaya kosha. Then still also the energy. One is considering himself the energy. Still the dukkha is there. Right? One is the manomaya kosha, emotional body, that one is thinking that himself is the mind, that one he is thinking about himself. Then also the manomaya kosha is there. But Vigyan Maya, the wisdom body, one comes at a stage, he is not a body, he is the soul, then he becomes a little blissful. And Anand Maya kosha, he becomes fully blissful, right? Because he realizes the super soul. So Annamaya and Maya, Gyan Maya, Manomaya, that is, and Vigyan Maya and the Anand Maya. So in the phenomenal manifestation, there are three stages: the stage of consciousness, the stage of semi-consciousness in dreaming, and the stage of unconsciousness. Right. So in the manifestation, phenomenal manifestation, there are three parts basically. Right. The consciousness, stage of semi-conscious, and dreaming. One is dreaming; it is semi-conscious, right? And the stage of unconsciousness, totally knowing nothing, right? So, but your lordship is translated to all these different material stages of existence. You exist, therefore, in a fourth dimension, and your appearance and disappearance do not depend on anything beyond yourself. You are the supreme cause of everything, but of you there is no cause, right? So for the Lord, it is like it is transcendental, it is the fourth dimension, like, because one is living into the, for example, one is insect is living, insect is living into the two dimension, like on a piece of paper. If I tell them there is a third dimension is there, the x and y axis is there, but there is z axis, there is another third dimension is also there. The insect will not know that, because it is living into the two dimensionally. But as soon as but we know that there is, yes, there is third dimension. So here also the fourth dimension is there. The fourth dimension is there basically. The appearance is discipline doesn't depend on anything. It is the will of the Lord by which he appears and he disappears. He is the supreme cause of sarva. He is the sarva karana karanam. And but of you there is, but of Krishna there is no cause. You yourself cause your own appearance and disappearance, right? Despite your transcendental position, my Lord, in order to show your six opulence and advertise your transcendental qualities, because why he shows, so that because he wants us to come to the Anandamaya Kosha. One comes to the understanding that yes, we are subordinate to him. Yes, we wants us to be very happy, and we want us to be eternally happy. That's why he comes, so that we know Janma Karma Chamya Divya, we try to understand him, ultimately become transcendental to all these activities, and we transcend to the, we get transcend, we will get get elevated to the platform of Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha, right? So, and advertise your transcendent qualities, you have appeared in your different incarnations, right? A fish, tortoise, boar, Nrsimha, right? Various Keshava, whatever he wants, he can become, right? Keshava by your personal manifestation, and you have appeared as different living entities by your separated manifestation, right? Hare Krishna. Yes, Sadhna Mataji.
Prabhuji, it says that appearance and disappearance does not depend on anything. That means the avyakt roop of Krishna and the manifested roop of Krishna, both of them are equally important. Then why does Krishna propagate that only the manifested roop has to be worshipped, not the unmanifested is difficult to achieve?
Matari,
Prabhuji.
appearance and disappearance is talking about the original form of the Lord Matari. Basically, here Krishna is talking that when Krishna appears, his appearance is not the unmanifested. The manifestation and unmanifestation is not talked about here. It is about the Janma and Karma Matari. Janma, how he appears. It is talking about that Matari, not the manifestation. Manifestation, avyakta, that is manifestation and manifestation is different, Matari. Here it is from the 10th canto, I think, Matari, because it is from the Krishna book. The appearance, because one knows the appearance, one who knows he calls his appearance. Right? Not the manifestation, Matari. That effulgence, that unmanifested form is basically the glaring effulgence of the Lord, which is Brahma Jyotir effulgence, Matari. Right? So do not confuse Matari with that manifestation.
Right,
Appearance
right,
is
Prabhuji.
coming into the world and going out of this world. And yeah, in the Krishna book, by your internal potency, you appear as the different incarnations of Vishnu, and by your external potency, you appear as the phenomenal world. right? So internal potency, that is, superior energy. So various incarnations of Vishnu, he takes place. And external potency, that is, that is the inferior energy. He appears as the phenomenal world. He creates with the Maya, right? Mama Maya Durataya. Mame, but one needs to, overcome that Maya. Mameva prapadante Maya metam tarantite. So Mahabhutani Ahankaro Buddhiravaktam eva cha Indyani Dasaikam cha Panchachendriya Gocharaha Ichadvesha Sukham Dukkham Sanghatas Chetanadhitihi Eta Chetam Samasena Savikaram Udatam. Hare Krishna. Translation anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
The five great elements false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the ten senses, the mind, the five sense object, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregated, the life symptoms, and convictions, all these are considered in summary to be the field of the activities and its incarnations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the five great elements, the Panch Mahabhut. The Panch Mahabhut is the false ego and manifested the ten senses. Right, the five great elements are earth or water, air, ether, fire, right? These are the five great elements, right? Now comes the false ego intelligence, unmanifested. Unmanifested is what? The three modes of material nature. That is the unmanifested, right? The false ego intelligence and the three modes of material nature together, they're constituted as unmanifested. And there are the 10 senses, right? The mind, and then the mind, the five sense objects, right? The five sense objects from which we are dealing, the mind deals the five sense objects. There is this in the photo you can see, in the picture you can see there's the eyes and nose, right? Smelling power, then there is ears and the touch and tongue is there, right? The five sense objects. And there's desire, hatred, happiness, distress, and aggregate, the life symptoms and the convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities, right? Where the knower of the field is basically acting, it is acting basically in these things only. Through this body it is acting, through the false ego it is acting, through intelligence it is acting, through three modes of material nature it is acting, through 10 senses it is Jnanendriya, Karmendriya it is acting, through mind it is acting, through five sense objects it is acting, through desire to hatred, through happiness, distress, and the aggregate and the life symptoms it is acting, right? And all these conviction, with all these convictions, one is basically acting, right? Like acting through these field of activities, right? These are all the field of activities, right? So authoritative systems of the great sages, Vedic hymns and the Vedanta Sutra elaborate the same components of this world. Right. The first there are the Panchma, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These are five great elements, Panchma, the Mahabhuta, right? And there are false intelligence and manifest stages of three modes of nature. Right. These are the three. Right, then there are five senses of acquiring the knowledge, acquiring the Jnanendriya, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. The five senses, acquiring senses. Five working senses. There is voice to mouth, and there is legs to walking, there is hands to interact, there is anus and genitals. These are five. Right? Then there's above the senses, there is mind, right, which is within and which can be called the senses within. Right, which is within, which can be called, which can be called the senses within, including the mind. There are 11 senses altogether, right? So these are 11, the 10 senses and the mind. These are 11, right? And there are five objects of senses: smell, taste, form, touch, and sound, right? Which is driven by the mind. Becomes 16, right? The 11, and there is this 5, 16, then there is, these three are there: false intelligence, false ego, intelligence, unmapped stages, or three more, the unmapped stage, the three more stages becomes 3, become 19, 19, then this becomes the Panch Mahabhuta becomes 5. These all 24 elements basically consist of, the field of activities. The aggregate of 24 elements is called the field of activity. Then there are the five objects of senses, smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. The 424 elements. Then there are desire, hatred, happiness, and distress, which are interactions, representations of the five great elements in the gross body. Right? Through these elements only, this all desire, hatred, happiness, distress comes. Right? The living symptoms are represented by consciousness. Convictions are manifestations of the subtle body. Right? The consciousness is basically representing the mind, the ego, and intelligence. Right? These subtle elements are included within the field of activities. Right? The covering is there of the soul as the covering of the subtle body, and there is the covering of the gross body. The six changes occur in the body, which is the body is born, it grows, it stays, it produces byproducts, and it begins to decay, and at last state it vanishes. And these are the only six changes to the body, right? With this bodily concept, we assume that we are in the eternal relationship with all the body relation, but it is all temporary relationship. Right, because the body is born, it grows, it stays, it produces byproducts, right? Byproducts, and we think that this is it belongs to us. No, it belongs to the Lord, right? So therefore, the field is a non-permanent material thing. However, the Shaitagna, the knower of the field, its proprietor, is different. Right? Central theme of the purport is, the discussion in the goes in the purport, discussion in the purport. The central theme of the purport is that indicates that the field or body is a non-permanent material thing. And the Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that the field or body is a non-permanent material thing, and Shaitagna, or the knower of the field, is different from the field. What are the components of the field of activity? That we learned the 24 elements, right? The interactions, the five great elements, the five sense objects, the 11 senses including mind and intelligence, right? The intelligence and false ego, then unmanifested state of three modes of modes of nature, interactions of the gross and subtle body. The gross body desires, hatred, happiness, distress. It all related to the this desire, hatred, happiness, distress related to the body. It's related to the gross body. What is related to the subtle body? And some conviction is related to it. Some consciousness is related to the subtle body. So living symptoms presented by consciousness and convictions. It is the conviction comes from not from the gross body, right? The conviction comes from the subtle body, right? The consciousness comes from the consciousness can be seen through the subtle body, that is the mind, right? So what is the five great elements are the gross. What is pradhan? The five great elements are a gross representation of the false ego, technically called as materialistic conception or tamasa buddhi, which is intelligence in ignorance, right? Which represents unmanifested three modes called pradhana. So basis of this knowledge is authority as per the 13.5, right? Six changes in the body. It takes birth, it takes birth, it grows, stays, it's for some time, it produces some byproducts, it decay, and then death, vanishes in oblivion, right? So vikaras, these are the six vikaras is there. So interaction and transformation of the, and of the elements of the the elements of the body, right? 13.6 explain what the field of activities consists of, right? And 13.7 explains the transformation and the interactions of the field of activities, right? The field of activities is defined in the 13.7, right? We complete the second part. We come to the third part, which is Krishna's further answer to question 5, the process of knowledge and the liberation, right? So now he will define the all the what is knowledge, right? What is knowledge? He will clearly define that this is all the knowledge, right? Amanitvam adambitam ahimsa shantir arjavam acharyopasham shaucham sairyam atma vinigraha indyateshu vairagyam ahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkhadoshanu asaktiranabhivishangaha putradara grahadishu नित्यं च चित्तत्वाम् ईशानितोपपतिषु मयि चान्यन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्याभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशा सेविताम् अरातिर्जान सांसिधि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यात्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञान इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यद् अतो न्यथा हरे कृष्ण ट्रांसलेशन
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the object of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest. Even mindedness admit pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitude place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge. And besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the knowledge he clearly defines. He clearly states the facts, right? The facts is stated by Krishna that the humility. He starts with the humility, but it was in Kali Yuga. Humility is the best thing, right? The humility, if even if humility comes, there is the knowledge. So he starts with the humility, pridelessness, right? Non-violence, tolerance, right? All this you are seeing, it is all related to the, all is related to the knowledge. Rest all which is not included in that is basically ignorance, right? He clarifies it, right? Simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, that's why it is very necessary, right? Because his previous slokas, he has already tad विधि बड़ी पाते ना परिप्रश्न सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ज्ञानम ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शनम that anybody one needs to approach a spiritual master essentially, right? Pari prashna, inquire from him submissively. Updekshanti Dhyanam. He can impart knowledge onto you because he has seen the truth. Because he has seen the tattva. That's why approaching a bona fide spiritual master is necessary. Lord Himself is saying, right? Acharya Upashanam, Socham. Acharya Upashanam, right? Acharya Upashanam, he is saying. Socha means cleanliness, right? That's why the regulative principle includes the cleanliness, that not having illicit sex, because with which with the purity comes, the soch comes, the suchi comes, right? Suchi means cleanliness, the purity comes. The steadiness should be there, the self control should be there, right? The propensity to enjoy with the law material things should be controlled. The self control should be there. Renunciation of the objects of sense satisfaction should be there. The tyaga should be of, not enjoying for us, rather for, using it for the Lord, right? Renunciation of the objects of sense gratification. Absence of false ego. What is ego? That I am this soul, that is ego, that is correct ego, right? That is true ego, right? I am this, so I am this soul, I am this jiva. What is false ego? I am this body. That is false ego. So if we know that we are not the body, we are the soul, that is absence of false ego. The perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, right? That this is all is the perception. That is the evil thing, that is this evil, and that we need to get above this, and we need to be free from it. That should be a perception, right? Detachment, the vairagyam should be there. Freedom from entanglement with the children, wife, home, and rest, right? There is the freedom, that is, you should not be asakt, like Dhritarashtra, who is asakt with the Duryodhana, that he is doing the sinful activity, that Dhritarashtra knows that, still is involved in these sinful acts, right? So that is basically attached, right? He is attached to his children, wife, home, and the rest, right? Even mindedness, even amid pleasant, unpleasant events, right? So one should be equipoised, one should be even minded, because one should know it is all the mercy of the Lord. The constant and unalloyed devotion to me, Satatam Kirtayantuman, right? And Bharitam, and always Satatam Kirtayantuman. Nitanta Shraddha, right? With determination, one should be always chanting his glories, as always worshipping. Aspiring to live in a solitary place, right? One should aspire, because one should be, one should be, not, Srila Prabhupada always, always when living in solitary, he used to write the books, he used to chant, right? So that, some time with you, personal time with the Lord one should get, right? Because whatever bhakti we are doing, it is just to create some sambandha with the Lord, right? The eternal sambandha, right? The eternal sambandha is, maybe we would have in the Goloka Vrindavan, we have been designated duty of, making a mala for the Lord. That is our duty, but we are not there, right? We are above, we are not following our duty, and we have come here that this mala should be given to us. I should wear this mala, and this propensity is there. The Lord over the material nature is there, and we are not there, and we are not now blissful, right? But there is their duty for us, right? There is some duty for us. There's some sambandha, there is some relationship with the Lord, right? That's why you can see in all the religion, it is necessary to talk to the Lord, and we should develop a relationship with the Lord. That's why the rasas are there. It is where in the bhakti, whatever bhakti is doing, there is no language is to it. English person is also doing, because the feeling, the love and devotion is all that is Lord seeking. He doesn't want anything more than love and devotion, right? He does want the love. What is love? What is love? Love is basically, seeking relationship with the Lord. That's seeking some service, the loving exchange with the Lord, right? He just wants our love, right? Many examples are, because it is not about even any religion. It is, be in the Islam, be in the any religion, Muhammad religion, the Christianity. No religion is there for this love, right? They also, because in other things, there is all the judgment. There is there judgment day. On the judgment day, one will be seeking results of that. But in ours, the relationship should be there. The relationship with the Lord should be there. We need to cultivate that relationship. How we establish, but because if there is feeling, if we are bowing to the Lord, if we are offering something to the Lord, and we have no feeling for him, right? No feeling for him, then we are in big trouble. So what our question should be, that how to have some feeling to that. That's why there is sadhana bhakti is there. That's why our guru says, have faith and continuously follow, and have some realization, right? So have some lessons and some effect, and continue, and continue with that, and and basically develop some relation with the sadhana bhakti only. One will be gradually, it will be coming, the gradually some feeling will come. That feeling with the Lord will protect you, right? That feeling, because if you do lot of things or a lot of things and there is no feeling, then there is that is the futile effort. But if the feeling, a little feeling also, it is coming of a life becomes successful, little feeling for the Lord, it comes, and that protects us. That is basically what Lords want, because he is not caring with the when some religion, he is not caring with some whatever. One is the Christianity, is he's having basically a lot of feeling for the Lord. He will go to the Goloka Vrindavan, he is eligible for that, and he is eligible for that, right? So we just need to cultivate that feeling, that what, that are we literally bowing to the Lord, and we literally from the heart do we want to serve to the Lord, then we will go to him, right? So philosophical search for the absolute truth, right? So this is necessary, this is the knowledge. All this I declare to be knowledge, he says, and what I stress, whatever there may be, is ignorance, right? So we will start from here, discuss it from here, from tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Okay, any doubts on today's class? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay then. Okay, we'll end this. You can go to the purpose also. This chapters may be a little difficult to understand also for the first time. When I also used to read, it becomes a difficult. No, but keep reading these chapters, right? 13, 14. These are little bit of some knowledge is there. Some technical things are there in these chapters. Basically, 13, 14.
Prabhuji,
Okay. Yes,
Prabhuji,
ma'am.
these 24 elements which constitute the field of activity, they are the one which basically constitute our karmas.
Matari, those elements are basically created by the Krishna and the Vishnu himself. The Vishnu creates the 16 elements, in which the 8 elements are then again infused by the Brahma, and 24 elements causes this material nature, this material world to create. Basically, the soul is there, but the mind, intelligence, ego is false ego is added. The three modes of material nature is added. The sense objects and all this karmendriyas, or all this panch mahabhut is added, and then we this material world is formed, and this jiva, us with our desire, we enter into this world with all this covering of 24 elements, Mataji. Right, Mataji.
Prabhuji, the activities are done by this body which constitute these 24 elements. So
And three
basically,
modes of no Mataji, three modes of material nature is doing the activity. The body becomes the instrument to it, right? The basically, if we are playing a guitar, the hand becomes the instrument to it. Similarly, the field of activities become the panch mahabhuta is becoming the instrument to it. The three modes of material nature, the things are driven by three modes of material nature. It uses the hand, right? It uses the hand to for playing the guitar. The desire is made by the soul.
right, Prabhuji,
And
right. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji. Gulandi Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripasinduva च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अंत कोटि वैष्णवन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।